And we're back after like a month. God, it feels like so long since I have played this. Thankfully, it's not really a game you can forget how to play. Now, what in the world was even going on? Alright, Lily had to talk to me, okay. Lily sits at the table inside her room, looking a little worse for wear. I guess that's because of the bad news. Following her gesture of invitation, I sit across from her and lay Hanako's things on her table. Well, there's no point in either of us waiting. Would you mind going first, Azal? What happened today? My memory of the incident is already beginning to fade, but I explain it as best as I can to Lily. Inviting Hanako to work with the group, Shizen and Misha's questioning, our foray to town getting discovered, and the subsequent panic attack. I had Shizene's reaction almost as an afterthought, but Lily seems to take some kind of comfort in hearing about it. I guess rivals don't become rivals for no reason. There must be some history there, but now isn't the time to explore it. I see. She had said her therapist sessions were helping, but I had my doubts. It's quite a shame. Her birthday has caused problems before, but I had hoped that she would have improved with you around and more intensive therapy. Where's Hanako now? Last time I saw her, she was in the infirmary. I guess she's gone back to her room by now. She wasn't in the library or the tea room when I checked, so I can only assume that too. You said you also had some bad news. What's the matter? Do they concern Hanako? Lily shifts her position, the body's way of saying she's searching for the right words. My aunt has fallen gravely ill. I'm afraid I'm going to be heading back to Scotland to visit her and to spend some time with my family. What? Is she alright? When do you leave? I'm not altogether sure of exactly how she's faring at the moment, though last I heard she was stable. I'll be leaving Saturday. It's the earliest flight that I could get. Stable, that's code word for needs to stay in the hospital. I've been stable long enough to know that, and to know that it doesn't necessarily mean someone is in good condition, but merely treading water. On the upside, stable is much better than critical condition. At least she's not on the brink of death. Stable, that's a relief. Yes, but this means that I won't be here for Hanako's birthday. I wanted to tell you now so we could think of something before we told Hanako, but after today's events, I'm not even sure if there's going to be an issue if we simply cancel the party. I don't think that's such a good idea. Hanako already knows that we were planning a party now. To go back on that seems like the wrong thing to do. Also, we should do something for your going away, right? You make it sound as if I won't be coming back. If all goes well, I should only be away for a week, though possibly two. That's one relief at least. With that in mind, what do you suggest then? Given the circumstances, I don't think karaoke is really appropriate. You're not going away for the greatest of reasons, so having too much fun would feel wrong. What did you do for her birthday last year? Last year, I literally couldn't get her out of her room. She'd locked the door. All I could do was leave food outside of her, making sure that she was at least eating well. And this is perhaps the most depressed I've seen Lily and heard and seen Lily act. I feel sorry for her, given how defeated she must feel to be unable to help her closest friend. Perhaps it would be better to throw the party before you leave, then. That does sound like it would be the easiest option. I think we should at least tell Hanako, both about your trip and her party. I have her things from class as well. That's a good point. Should we go and visit her now? I think that would be a good idea. Part of me is dying to see Hanako. The last time I saw her, she looked like death walking, and these last few hours had torn me apart just thinking about that. We quietly get up and file out of Lily's room. Hanako's room is next door in the same hallway. Knocking lightly gets us no response, but the door proves to be unlocked. Lily pauses for a moment as the handle unexpectedly moves under her hand before opening the door. Hanako's room is startlingly bare and monotone. There are no decorations on the plain white walls, a plain dark blue blanket, and only a few books, papers, and purely utilitarian items on the shelves. Even her bed sheets are monochrome. The entire room feels as subdued as Hanako's character. Hanako herself is laying curled up on her bed. She may not be crying now, but her eyes are closed tightly to stop herself, and the tracks left by her tears still sit on her reddened cheeks. I quietly walk in and set her bag down the desk, afraid of startling her too much. Hello, Hanako. Hazao told me about what happened today. Are you alright? Hanako's eyes open, though only a little. I'm okay. She tilts her head slightly to look at me, noticing my grimacing before I can hide it. Sorry for making you worry. Really, I'm fine now. She really doesn't look nor sound okay, though at least she seems more calm than when she was before. She still looks as if the slightest breath could emotionally break her. I said it before, right? You don't need to be sorry for this. Hazao was right. I shouldn't have hidden something like a birthday celebration from you. I see Hanako shiver at the word. Lily picks up the silence that follows and crouches down to Hanako's level. I'm the one who should be sorry, Hanako. Hanako's eyes open to peer at Lilly. She looks at Lilly for some time, taking in her face with those dark, analytic eyes of hers. Lilly must have made the right impression on her. As Hanako recovers enough to prop herself up on the bed and shift to sitting on its side, Hanako worries about many things, but troubling others is foremost among them. Hearing Hanako's shuffling, Lilly moves forward and feels at the side of the bed, eventually taking a seat beside her and taking Hanako's left hand in both of hers. The feeling of me being out of place when the two are together has lessened in the time that we've known each other, but it's still occasionally very much there. This is one of those times, I think. Lilly, if you want me to go... I don't want that. Lilly and I are both surprised at Hanako mustering her courage. A half-mumbled "okay" is all I can give her in reply, but I take her desk chair to sit in. Hanako, I'm afraid I have some bad news. So Lilly's going to break the news now, with Hanako having affirmed our relationship so clearly. Perhaps Lilly thought the timing was good, or at least as good as it will ever be. My aunt has fallen ill, so I need to return to my family for a time. Concern replaces Hanako's remorseful expression. Your family? You mean in Scotland, right? That's right, Akila and I will be leaving Saturday. So you're going away? I won't be gone long, probably only a week or two. I'll be back before you know it, and Hizao will be here, right? That's right, I'm not going anywhere. Hanako seems to take only minor comfort in this, but she does manage to summon some resolve from somewhere inside her. Is your aunt going to be alright? I'm not sure. Silence falls. It's depressing that the thing to truly bring Hanako out of her rut is another's misfortune. I decided to bring up the other matter that brought us here to distract, at least in part, from the dismal feeling permeating the room. Anyway, we were thinking that it would be a good idea to have a going-away party for Lilly, and it could be double as, cut myself off before mentioning her birthday, as that seems to be a trigger for such fierce emotions within her. Lilly gives Hanako's hand a gentle squeeze. Is that alright by you, Hanako? It won't be anything lavish or overdone, just something small in my room. So, just in the school? Just us? That's right, just the three of us. If you like, I could ask Akio to come as well. Okay, you're only going for a week? 1 week or two, yes. I promise you it won't be any longer. Okay. Most people would be upset at hearing about a friend's family member falling ill and happy at having a party, but with Hanako it seems that both events are on the same level. Alright then, you look like you need a rest, Hanako, so it might be best if we all went back to our rooms for now. You know, if you ever want anything, you can always talk to me or Hizao, right? Lilly's voice is passive, an unusual edge for someone as confident in herself as she. I understand. Thank you, Lilly, Hizao. Well then, good night, Hanako. Night. I let out a long breath after the door closes behind us. It feels a little like I've been deep underwater and only now have been able to come up for air. Lilly doesn't seem to be doing well either. She looks pale and drawn. Are you alright? I'm just a little tired. It's been hectic recently. Have you slept at all? A little tired sounds like an understatement, given how you look. I think I managed to get a couple hours of sleep before class. I'll be okay. I feel bad about pressing Lilly right now. I think both of us are pretty tired from everything that's happened as well. And I think you should get some rest. It's been a big day, and staying up isn't good for your complexion. Thank you for your concern, Hizao. Good night, then. Alright, good night, Lilly. I leave Lilly in the hallway as she opens the door to her room and begin to make my way to my own. As I walk down the quiet hallway, I can't get that image of Hanako out of my mind, huddled and pitiable, lying helpless with tears on her cheeks. I begin to think that she was just a normal, extremely shy person, but her problems are much deeper. Trying to take our relationship further than what we share now, when she's so fragile and vulnerable, wouldn't be right. I don't need to be more than her friend in order to protect her, to try and stop anything like this ever happening again. The possibility of my feelings for her going beyond that doesn't matter anymore. Hanako is precious to me, and that's why I can't take advantage of her. But even so, I still that sting I feel when I think that way. For now, I need to sleep. Tomorrow, hopefully, it will be a better day. Hanako is more noticeable in her absence than she is in the room. I feel her empty desk calling out for me. I find myself peering over my shoulder endlessly, hoping that I'm hallucinating and that Hanako will magically appear. She makes sure she's as small as a presence as possible when she attends class, and although she had been getting better recently, that fact never changed. Nobody ever pays her any heed in class, and now that she's not here, they don't notice her absence. It's as if she just never existed. Lilly did say that her skipping class wasn't an unusual thing before I met her, but it's still very off-putting. The bells heralding the end of school make me jump in my seat. It's only now that I notice Misha is prodding me in the side with her mechanical pencil to get my attention. Hello, is anyone in there? Stop that. Ah, there we are. Welcome back to Earth, He-chan. What are you talking about? You keep on dazing off into space. I was beginning to think you might be trying to contact alien life. I really didn't get much sleep last night, so I don't doubt Misha's words. I'm not sure whether it was due to my medicine side effects, Hanako's panic attack yesterday, my worrying about her in general, or all three. I yawned tiredly before resting my chin in my palm, having been reminded of how badly I slept. Hey, are you alright? Yesterday kind of rattled me as well. Yeah, I guess. I wanted to speak to Hanako again, though. Did you see her last night? Yeah, Lilly and I talked to her. This may sound a bit weird, but can you tell she's an A thank you from both me and Lilly? I know Lilly technically didn't thank she's an A, but I could tell by her reaction last night that she wanted to. At least that's how it works out in my head. She doesn't look happy about that. I think that She-chan is trying to say is you're welcome. The furious sounding in Shizune's reddened cheeks tell me what she said was entirely different. Her blatantly flustered expression is amusing, though, enough to make me chuckle. What's so funny, He-chan? Was it something we said? No, that's not it. I was simply thinking about how cute Shizune can be at times. Haha, you're right. She-chan is really cute when she tries not to be. Notice that Misha tries not to sign her response to Shizune. Maybe Shizune's rage is enough of a counter to any quantity of cute. Nevertheless, Shizune quickly calms down and signs something else to Misha. Oh, okay, He-chan. Shizune wants you to come and have dinner with us. Dinner, huh? Turning away from them a bit, lest I be swayed by their pleading smiles, I begin to mull it over. The invitation certainly is tempting. A takeaway dinner with two cute girls is not a bad thing after all. The thought of Hanako locked up in her room, though, keeps on dancing on the edge of my mind. Sorry, I'll have to pass. Misha hasn't signed my response, but Shizune picks up on it easy enough and grimaces in disappointment. She moves her arms, assumedly beginning some form of either protest or coercion, but stops herself and taps Misha's shoulder twice. Once Misha gives Shizune her attention, the only statement Shizune has on the matter is a shrug. Oh well, it's your choice, He-chan. I promise I'll join you two another time, if that helps. Misha perks up at this, but Shizune doesn't share a reaction. With a flick of the head to signal for Misha to follow her away, Shizune simply raises her hand to silently wave me goodbye. As the two make their way out the door, I return the gesture until they're out of sight. I didn't think they would be so disappointed, and it makes me feel a little bad for ditching them. Still, I have things to do. The girls' dormitory is especially rowdy today, with a number of girls loudly playing games and watching the television in the common room on the first floor. I can hear their voices even now, standing in front of Hanako's door. And it's an odd contrast to the emptiness of the floor she's on. The voices from below make the emptiness feel all the more lonely. I had hopes Hanako would be in class today, especially after the talk Lilly and I had with her last night, but it feels like I shouldn't hold it against her. It was a pretty awful episode, and to have experienced it firsthand must be all the worse. Not knowing what state she's in, I take a small breath before giving a few sharp knocks on the brown door. All I can do is stand and wait, doing my best not to feel anxious. As the seconds wear on, I begin to think she might be asleep and didn't hear me knocking. The door handle rattles a little before I can raise my hand to knock again, though. The door opens a sliver, and I appearing in the gap, only just large enough for it to peer through. I'm sure this girl would install a peephole in her dormitory door if only such a thing was allowed. I just stand and smile at her. I don't think words would really help here after all. The actors are turned in kind, with Hanako wordlessly looking at me. The gap's not wide enough to see her expression, and I can only guess what she's thinking. Time passes as we look at each other, the only sound being the disembodied gaiety from the ground floor. I'm not sure how long it takes, but eventually the eye moves away. I keep wondering whether she'll let me in or shut me out until the door slowly begins to creak open. Now that I have a full view of her and her bedroom behind, the first thing I notice is that Hanako's hair is quite damp. She's recently showered, which is made even more obvious by the scent of shampoo wafting towards me. The look on her face seems one of curiosity, as if she's not really sure what to make of me. Even so, I'm not really all that sure of what she's thinking. It feels as if she's gone away for a long time, and having now returned, neither of us knows what to say to the other. Hanako realizes she's staring, looking away awkwardly, before turning to the side and gazing at her feet. I just had to take it as an invitation to step past her into the room, closing the door behind me as I do so. I can see her hands fiddling in the folds of the oversized gown that hang from her shoulders. I try to concentrate on what I want to say, but the scent from her addles my senses. To my surprise, it's not me, but Hanako that breaks the silence. Why? Because, why did I come here? I was worried about Hanako, so I came to her room. She let me in, as I had hoped, and then... What? What did I mean to do? What did I mean to say? Why didn't I think this through before coming here? I want to make up for what I feel I caused, at least partially. I want to try and remove the distance I feel between us since that, and I want to see her happy. How can I do that when I don't know the first thing about her? I wonder if this is how Iwanako felt when she saw me lying in that sterile pastel blue hospital bed. A deep sigh steadies my nerves a little and ends my stammering. I don't think I've ever felt this nervous around someone before. When I'm like this, I don't think I can lie. Even if I could bring myself to, Hanako would see me through it right away. I don't know, I just wanted to see you, I guess. Her fingers stopped moving, giving me a little surprise. Looking up to her face, she gives a sweet smile and a nod. That was a satisfactory answer for her. Since you're here, I'd like to play a game of chess with you. I almost hang my head in disbelief that all she wants to do, after I've been winding myself up so much, is play a game. Looking at her face, though, a tentative smile perched on it, I realize this is more than that. She could not have bothered answering the door. She could have shut it as soon as she saw my face. She could have asked me to leave. She could have rejected me at many points, but she didn't. Now, with this calm face, she wants to play the same game that we played when we first really spent time alone together. A feeling of relief washes over me. Everything will be alright. Hanako has let me into her world. As long as we can be together like this, I think everything will be alright. It'll be my pleasure. Uh-oh. I guess we're just gonna skip the game. Are we just gonna be in his room now? Oh, no, okay. We're just skipping here, alright. The day of Hanako's birthday party is finally here. To be honest, I'm looking forward to seeing Hanako and Lilly in their pajamas again. Hanako's gown, as grown on me, is looking rather cute, though a bit conservative, and Lily's shorts and thin silk on top are a lovely combination. But the event is stained a little with the memory of Hanako's reaction to it. I still don't really understand what happened, only being able to vaguely guess at the possible reasons for it, but I don't think finding the answer will be as straightforward as asking her. With that in mind, I knock on the door next to Hanako's. Is that you, Hizao? Yeah, it's me. I can hear the pitter-patter of footsteps coming to the door, followed by the sound of the lock snapping open. I don't think I've ever seen Lily's door locked before, and it makes me a little suspicious. Once the door opens, the sight is a little underwhelming for a birthday party. It's the same as always. Hanako returns to her seat at the table with a quick smile and a nod, leaving me to close and, assuming they want to be kept that way, lock the door. As I do so, I realize that the scene before me is that of an evening tea party, just like any other between the two, so I don't think I should be surprised. To my relief, Hanako looks relatively calm. The break from class has probably done her good and given her time to wind down a bit. I take a seat between the two at the low table in the center of Lily's room, the brightly colored teapots steaming away between us. A tall brown bag close by Lily's side catches my attention. I covertly try to glance inside it a couple of times, but can't get a good look from here. Looking to Hanako, it seems like she's as curious about it as I am. Hey, Lily. Lily finishes off the teacup raised to her lips before setting it down and giving me her attention. Yes? I was just wondering about that brown bag. She pauses for a moment, then gives a slightly cheeky smile. That would be Akila's present. Unfortunately, she said she was working and can't join us. Lily leans over and feels out the item inside before raising her arm. I raise an eyebrow as two items, not one, rise from the bag. The glass next are grasped by Lily on either side of her middle finger, so this is why she had her door locked. Wine. Two small thuds of the bottles are brought to rest on the table, one red, one white. I want to believe that it's fake, not alcoholic wine, but if it was, there wouldn't be any need to be this circumspect. Alcohol? Seriously? Are you sure this is a good idea? Lily smiles politely and giggles. I'm not really convinced that she is. These would be the present for my sister. I know it's a bit questionable, but a little shouldn't hurt. If Lily took serious issue with it, I don't think she'd have agreed quite so easily. That aside, I had Akila squared as the serious and responsible type, maybe like an older Lily, but it looks like I was wrong. We aren't even legally able to drink yet. Well, in that case, I won't complain. They don't look bad either. I'm no connoisseur, but at least the bottles look nice, apart from a surreptitious glass of wine or two given from my father at family dinners. I haven't really had enough to know what's what. That, and I can't really say I'm a total straight edge, but going by Hanako's expression, she's thinking the same. It's her birthday anyway. Shall I open one? Sure, I'll get some. My heart skips as I hear three sharp bangs coming from Lily's door. Hanako's head flicks around and Lily's eyes close as she listens intently. None of us want to be busted for this. Who is it? Let me in, I'm cold. Lily lets out a resigned sigh before motioning for Hanako to open the door. She obediently gets up and fusses with her gown before moving, apparently still not quite sure of who it is, but trusting Lily enough to do as she requests. I can just see a blonde, dark-suited figure become visible over Hanako's shoulder as she opens the door. Happy birthday, Hanako. Thank you, Akira. Hanako gives a small bow while twiddling her fingers in front of her, so this is Lily's elusive sister. Akira follows Hanako to the table after shutting the door behind her, giving me plenty of time to have a good look at her. She looks to be about the same height as Hanako and has short blonde hair that's quite roughly cut. Then, in addition to her rather modest breasts, masculine suit, and deep voice, gives her quite an androgynous effect. Without further ado, she plops herself down the side of the table across from me. It's nice to have your company after all, Akira. Did your work let you off? Yep, I have to go back there in a bit, but I managed to get enough of a break to drive down. So this would be Hizao then. Confident smile gets thrown in my direction, so I nod politely in return. Considering she just jumped straight into using my first name, she's much more informal than her appearance would suggest. Wait, if she already knows who I am, that must mean that Lily's talked about me with her. I wonder what she said. Sorry for not introducing you, Hizao. This is Akira Seto, my elder sister. I see. Nice to meet you. The person in question loudly claps her hands together, making Hanako jump a little bit. Akira notices this and looks uneasy for a fraction of a second before getting back into her stride. Only now do I realize that Akira hasn't paid Hanako's scars any undue attention. Hanako also seems to be comfortable, if not exactly relaxed, around Akira. Well, then I assume the presents got through. No point in waiting, considering Hizao and the birthday girl look like they're pretty eager. Lily giggles as I awkwardly turn away, a little embarrassed by the fact that I couldn't hide my interest. Hanako's eyes are telling me that she wants to try the wine with me, though, so I settle for a look of badly feigned indifference. Akira manages to uncork the first bottle with little effort, and Hanako goes to get some glasses before I get to pour them full of white wine. I heard somewhere that white wine has less alcohol than red wine, so I think it would be the best to start with. Here's to Hanako and to Lily's trip. Cheers. Cheers. After the traditional raising of the glasses, we all take sips of the pale yellow liquid. It's nothing like the stuff I've had with my parents, with the fruitness of the flavor almost entirely hiding the taste of alcohol. And maybe this is what proper wine is supposed to taste like. Then again, it's possible that Kyo just chose a wine which would be suited to our tastes, since none of us are used to alcohol yet. Or at least I hope none of us are. This isn't too bad. I was expecting something harsher. If you hadn't liked it, I have a few other varieties you could have chosen from. You sound like you know your stuff when it comes to wine. Only a bit. I'm more of a beer kind of person. I have the drinking side down pat, though. As if to prove her point, she refills her glass before bringing it to her lips and flicking her head back. Hanako and I silently watch as the whole glassful disappears down Akila's throat. I can't decide whether to be impressed or put off, but I certainly don't have any urge to imitate the act. Lily grimaces slightly at her sister's boast. I didn't note that she is sipping from her glass as she does so, though. Anyway, now that Akila's gift has been opened and sampled, shall we move on to ours? Gift? That's right, we got you presents. It's your birthday, after all. This is from me. Lily pulls out the carefully wrapped doll from under the table and passes it to Hanako. Hanako handles the present as if it was glassware, carefully turning it over to remove the tape that binds the wrappings. Eventually, the paper falls from the doll, revealing the emerald green of the doll's dress. It's beautiful. I'm not sure what reaction I was expecting from Hanako. The near-total lack of dolls in her room made me think she didn't care about them, but the look in her eyes now is something different. She turns the doll around with the same delicacy she afforded the wrapping, as if she was expecting it to fall apart in her hands. I'm glad you like it. Hizao picked it out, to be honest. Hanako suddenly remembers that she is not alone in the room and shifts her focus from the doll. Yes, I like it. Thank you, Lily and Hizao. Actually, I got you something else. I reach into my bag and remove the wrapped chest set. Here, happy birthday. Hanako carefully sits Lily's doll next to her and opens my present with the same care that she showed Lily's. Before long, the checkered squares of the chessboard are visible, and Hanako gently runs her fingers across the card surfaces. Oh. Almost by accident, she triggers the catch to the lid, startling herself in the process. She opens it and retrieves one of the gray pieces. She seems as absorbed in the chess pieces as she was in the doll before. They're coral, natural coral, and dead, or so I'm told. Thank you, Hizao. No problem, it's your birthday after all. That's right, my birthday. Once again, Hanako's reaction seems a little off, but she carefully closes the border lid. I notice Akila's smile beginning to look very strained. I wonder if she knows anything about what happened in class, given that she seems to be treading on eggshells around Hanako. I'll have to play you again sometime. I'll make sure I'll play you first. She takes the doll she received from Lily and holds it to her chest together with the small chessboard, putting a piece on top. It seems to settle her down somewhat, and we just sit in silence for a while. I think it's one of the few times I've seen her genuinely happy, cradling the friendship of two people to her chest as tightly as she can. Thank you, Lilly. Thank you, Azao. In the process of thanking us, Hanako drops the chess piece and fumbles a bit in her rush to retrieve it. When she finds it, Hanako puts the chess set down and nervously gulps at her wine. It's as if the real world suddenly rushed back into her consciousness, and her fastest escape found in the glass. Ugh, messed that last part up. Hey, easy there, you shouldn't drink it that fast. It's a party, Azao. Despite saying this, there is a slightly concerned edge to her voice. Eventually, acquiescing, Lilly proceeds to follow Hanako's lead, though not as eagerly. She looks to be taking small sips from her glass and letting the wine settle on her tongue before swallowing. I decide this is probably the best approach, and do the same myself. Since this is kind of a going-away party for you as well, I hope you enjoy your trip at least a little. Lilly, hopefully your aunt will be okay. I hope your aunt is okay too, Lilly. Lilly and I are slightly taken aback by Hanako's fervor to wish Lilly well, despite her own familiar situation. I'm a little impressed. My, thank you both. I'll be sure to convey your thoughts to my family when I meet them. It'll be fine in the end, Lilly. Don't worry about it. Since the room's mood has become noticeably more sullen, I decide to try and move things along. Well then, shall we start on the cake? My tentative suggestion has the intended effect, everyone lightening up considerably. Yes, please. Cake? I didn't know there was any cake. I picked one up before I came, along with some snacks. Well then, Azao, at least one of us remembered to bring one. Everyone seems to welcome the distraction, so I retrieve the cake from my bag and start cutting it up. Mixing wine and chocolate cake isn't something that I thought would work well, but none of us seem to mind. Conversation is temporarily suspended as we start to eat. I was initially wary of this idea. After Hanako's panic attack, I expected the worst from tonight, but I think Lily's idea of giving her good memories of her birthday is working. That and also having it shared with her going-away party. From Hanako's reaction to her gifts, I can tell she was really appreciative. Hanako tries to pour herself another glass of wine, but ends up spilling some on the table. She's had a couple by now, so considering that she's never had alcohol before, it's no wonder she's feeling a bit lightheaded. Oh, sorry, Lilly. I didn't mean to make a mess. Don't worry, I've got it. Lilly reaches sideways and gently takes the fussing Hanako in her arms, giving me pause. It's okay, Hanako. I'm just happy you're here. Hanako gives only a faint nod in response. It's fitting, I suppose, that Lilly would be the one to support her like this. I have no idea what Hanako would be like if she hadn't. Seeing the two like this makes me appreciate the fact that I'm privy to such an intimate moment. Even Akira can't help but smile at the sight. Never would have thought I'd managed to find new friends so quickly, and, I'm all the more thankful that of all people, these two are the two I befriended. They slowly break off from one another, Hanako regaining herself somewhat, while I quickly get myself back on task. I find a towel among Lily's tea set and start mopping up the spillage. By the time I finish, however, Hanako and Lily have managed to uncork the other bottle and have topped off their glasses. Hey, it looks like you're enjoying the wine then. Just don't go too crazy with it after this, mind? We all dutifully nod and agree, but her reminder feels a bit silly given that she's the one supplying underage people with alcohol. The second glass of wine goes down a lot quicker than the first, and before any of us notice, the second bottle is empty. While Akila is helping us finish them off, Hanako looks to be almost equaling her in the amount she's had. My head feels a little light, but I think I managed to gauge my own tolerance surprisingly well. Hanako smiles lazily, toying with her doll's hair. I think it's a pretty safe bet that she hasn't moderated herself as well as I. I don't think it was Hanako's intention to get this drunk, but it seems that the alcohol hit her all at once. She has a very light frame, something which wouldn't help her handle the booze well either. Lily cradles her glass, running a finger around the rim. Her cheeks are rosy, but she's managing to avoid looking woefully drunk. Akila is, as I expected, largely unaffected. Her smile might be a little wider than before, though, maybe. Hanako suddenly hiccups and accidentally knocks over the doll. I think I should go to bed. Thank you, Azao and Lily and Akila. She slurs Akila's name pretty hard, barely avoiding breaking out into a giggle midway through. She's completely plastered, and I can't decide whether I should feel a little bad or not for being amused at the state she's in. It really is bizarre to see her acting so carefree. A shame that it's only with the help of alcohol. Here, let me give you a hand. Akila begins to get up and help Hanako out, but she's stopped when Lily gives her a sharp cough. Azao, would you please? Akila looks a little surprised. I have to admit that I am as well. I don't mind the request at all, let alone when it's said with such a smile. It just comes rather unexpectedly. Sure, no problem. I pick pick up the chess set and help Hanako stand up. I do feel somewhat responsible for her, considering that, other than Akila, I'm probably the most sober person in the room. She nurses the doll in one hand and offers me the other. We stumble out the door, into the hallway, and into Hanako's room, Hanako bumping into me a number of times on the way. Inside the room, I flick on the light as Hanako turns her attention towards a shelf on the dresser. An elegant doll is sitting on it, staring into the bare room. There you go, you'll be safe in here. Kinda looks like Mary from Eve. Hanako gingerly places the doll next to the other one and straightens its dress. They sit in silence, hair and clothes perfectly arranged. Just like the teapot in Lily's room, they serve as a distinct contrast to the dull whites and grays that permeate her bedroom. Satisfied that her dolls, her only two real possessions, are safe, Hanako takes a step back and stands up, staggering severely. I step forward to catch her if need be, but she regains her balance without my help. For a while, both of us stand in silence as Hanako looks downward towards the cupboard. After a minute or two, she begins to sway a little from side to side. It's very off-putting. Are you gonna be alright? Hanako raises her head and turns around to me as if she's only just remembered that I'm also in the room. What's unexpected is that she takes 2 steps towards me and wraps her arms around my body, her head coming to rest against my chest. I can feel my heart beating as all of my senses feel like they're coming alive again, after their deadening through the previous drinking. The smell of wine on her breath, the feeling of her fingers in my clothing, the scent of her hair underneath my chin. My hands remain out in front of me, not daring to touch her. The temptation is there to hug her, to embrace her, and tell her everything will be fine, but this feels wrong. Really, really wrong. Hanako. But I want to stay with you and Lilly. Hanako's slurring reminds me a bit of Misha. She probably wouldn't be pleased to hear that. You know I can't. You're a girl and I'm a guy after all, and Lilly needs to sleep. Wait, this music. Oh. I know this music, okay. I know this music. This music always plays in certain times. She gives a disappointed grin. It's so strange for her to act so forward. Don't worry, I'll see you again tomorrow, okay? I decide to rest a hand on her head to reassure her, deciding this is as far as I'll allow myself to go in terms of physical contact with her while she's in this state. Hanako's head nuzzles against my chest and makes me feel all the more uneasy with the situation, and as her arms tighten around my back, I quickly decide to bail out. I rest my hands on her shoulders and give a firm but gentle push. Her grip tightens a little as I do so, but she eventually breaks off. I don't want you to go. Hanako, please. Akila and Lilly are going to start thinking weird stuff if I take too long here. And it's perfectly true, too. I don't really want to take any chances, and I feel very uncomfortable right now. I shouldn't try to read anything into the way she's acting right now. I read that aside from alcohol-lowering inhibitions, people can react to getting drunk in many different ways that don't necessarily reflect reality. And even without that, there are plenty of ways to interpret what she's saying. As long as she's safe, I'm going to try and get out of her room as soon as possible. Hanako hiccups again, looking a right mess as she stands and looks downcast in the center of the room. Her personality changed as she drank more and more, and now, all alone in her room with me, her previous brightness seems to have left her. Was she just acting upbeat to make sure we didn't worry? Even if she was, what could I possibly do for her, since I do exactly the same thing in regards to my own condition? Distancing myself from my thoughts, I eventually managed to corral Hanako towards her bed, though her attempts to tame the wild sheets on it end up accomplishing little. Sorry about tonight, Hanako. I know you probably won't remember any of this, but happy birthday. I'm sorry I couldn't do more for you. She looks at me for a moment. I have no idea if what I said actually got through to her, but any chance to ask is lost as her eyes peacefully close. Okay, good. I sigh in relief before quietly backing away from her and leaving the room, flicking the light switch off as I go. I hesitate a little before opening the door to Lily's room again, quickly rehearsing what I should say if I get questioned about Hanako. After a few seconds, I still can't come up with anything. I open the door and make sure to close it behind me, lest any passing students catch a glimpse of the wine, before turning my attention to the 2 girls at the low table. Akila is casually smiling, as is Lilly. I welcome the change from the mood in Hanako's room. Is that you, Hisao? Yeah, I got Hanako to her bed. She's sleeping now. That's good. I have to admit I hadn't thought she'd drink quite so much. Hey, it's fine. She's all safe and tucked up in bed now, with the way she is. She awkwardly trails off, though Lilly and I would hardly protest. For someone so anxious and fearful, drinking would give an easy out from those constant feelings. I wish I could do more for her. I feel useless. Looking at Lilly, I think back to what I asked myself in town. My relationship with her is that of a friend, and has only ever felt that way, but now I think I know why. Lily's been there for both Hanako and me since I met her, but she's like that for everyone, trying to do her best to make them feel better. With that in mind, then what's the bond between me and Hanako? After rescuing our relationship following the panic attack I inadvertently triggered during class, I feel like we're back to being friends, but she's on my mind more and more. Can't say I view any other girl in quite the same way, but maybe it's just a normal reaction to someone acting like this. Say, Akira. She yawns before looking at me. It is getting pretty late. You know about what happened with Hanako, don't you? Yeah, Lilly told me. I negotiated pretty hard for a break so I could come down and help and make her birthday a lot brighter. We get along pretty well. That's surprising to hear that from someone as extroverted as her, but if Hanako came to know her through Lilly, maybe she had time to get used to Akira. And on that note, I'd better get going. I'm already going to be a bit late as it is. Oh, but it's already so late. Sorry, we got a bunch of work dropped on us, so overtime it is. She levers herself up with a grunt and heads past me towards the door. Just before she leaves, she turns back towards us. You haven't forgotten about the time for the flight and all the rest. Don't worry, I have everything ready. It's just a matter of packing when it gets close to the time to leave. Atta girl, I'll see you guys later then. And with that, she disappears through the door with her hand held high in farewell. Your sister is something, alright? Probably should have thought that comment before saying it. Regardless, Lilly seems quite amused at my appraisal. You okay after all that drinking, not wasted and just hiding it well? I assure you I am quite alright. I can moderate myself. You seem self-possessed as well, if I do say so myself. Yeah, well, I guess your moderation applies to me as well. With a little hesitation, I take a seat at the table in front of Lilly. I want to address this directly, if for no other reason than to settle my own thoughts. I've been meaning to ask this, but it took me a while to make up my mind. Do you have any idea what triggered that panic attack? I gathered it was something to do with her birthday, but I don't know anything more. Even Akio was being really careful around her, so I assume she knows as well. Lilly's smile drops, the gaiety of the birthday party now well and truly over. To be honest, I'm not sure of all the details myself. Hanako told you that she was in a house fire. She told me as much after we met and spent a lot of time together. Other than that, she quite simply never told me. She never told you. Assuming the worst, what does she have to look back upon? A life of isolation and possibly even the death of her family. Maybe even going as far as blaming her existence for their deaths. Even thinking about what little I know of Hanako's past is bleak. I have lived through all that, and to live on with those memories, all that, and to live on with all those memories must be infinitely worse. Lilly looks similarly depressed, but I can see her rebuild at least some of her composure before my eyes. I get the feeling that both of us are talking more frankly than we might otherwise do thanks to the wine, but it feels like just talking this out is a good thing anyway. I kind of feel helpless about it. When it's put like that, what can I possibly do for her? I'm not wholly sure I should tell you this, but Hanako told me that you visited her the day after we both went to check on her. I must admit that I did not predict she would take such a step so quickly after what happened, nor did I expect you to. I think it was a nice gesture on your part. It wasn't much, really. It's just at times like this, I sometimes think it would be better if we never had to leave Yamaku, or at least this town. Things are so much easier without others around. I didn't expect Lilly to look quite so troubled at what I say, and for a while she looks lost in thought. She moves to speak, but stops herself as soon as she does and rethinks. It's a bit off-putting. I think... Whoops. Tell me, do you have anything planned for Friday evening? Friday evening? No. Isn't your flight to Scotland the next day? I don't think it would be a good idea to tire yourself out before you even get there. I'll be alright, you needn't worry about me. I'd do this tomorrow evening, but I imagine Hanako will be feeling rather off for a while. The thought of how she's going to be tomorrow makes me grimace. Maybe we should count our blessings that she didn't end up simply throwing up from drinking so much while having such a low tolerance. I'm going to be able to attend whatever you're planning. What is it? Nothing unusual, I assure you. Just a little excursion. And you'd better be off, Izawa. I can't imagine it's long at all until curfew is here. Oh, damn curfew. I'd completely forgotten. I look at the clock next to Lily's bed, but it seems to be some oddity without written numerals, which I suppose makes sense given Lily's condition. Not wanting to risk a haughty security patrol giving me a scolding, I get up and decide to go to my dorm, as she says. Well then, I guess I'll see you and Hanako tomorrow, assuming the both of you manage to get up in the morning. Thank you for your concern, Izawa. Until then. With that, I make my way out of her door and into the hallway. I hope her idea will be a good one. And we're gonna end it here. Let's just see how it starts up next. I totally forgot I could skip those. Alright, well, we're gonna end it here. It's good to finally be doing this again. Well, I did not expect Wano Hada to be that long of a game. It took like a month to do that. But anyway, thank you for watching, and goodbye.